Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday, August 28th. It is now 5:56 p.m., and I will call the Salem Area Mass Transit District Board of Directors meeting to order. Thank you all for your patience through our technical difficulties. And will the clerk of the board please note attendance for a quorum? And we'll have our safety minute presented by CFO Denise LaRue.
Good evening. You will see the graphic up on the screen for the safety moment, and it's regarding reducing stress in the workplace. Try to get 30 minutes exercise on most days. Ensure you eat well. Find a balance between your work and leisure time. Speaking to someone about your stress can help you regain your sense of calm. Get a full night's sleep of 7 to 8 hours. And do your best and think positively about your work. If you're aware of it, take care of it. That is my safety minute.
Thank you very much. And do we have any announcements or changes to the agenda? No? All right, no presentations. That will bring us to our public comment portion of this evening. Really quickly, I do just want to note for the record that we have received written public comment from Stephen Cam for Cam Ventures, Inc., also doing business as Santiam Subs. We've received public comment from Mai Vang. We've received public comment from Grant Foster, Janet Wallace, the city, the Keizer City Council, Joanne Vidi, I do apologize if I mispronounced your last name, the Salem Chamber of Commerce, John Van Scheppen, and the Marion County Democrats Central Committee. And I will now turn to public comment. We do have one public commenter online. Finley, you have 3 minutes, and we can get started whenever you're ready.
Okay, can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, hi, I'm Finn. I just wanted to give a few words regarding the tax situation with the chamber. So firstly, I'd like to say that I'm very grateful for all the work y'all do here and that I appreciate the efforts you guys have made to engage with our communities. On the subject of the tax, I can understand being upset that you might lose some of your bottom line, but the behavior of the chamber has been pretty abhorrent. They seem to believe that doing business means berating and yelling at people. I don't know what professionalism means in the chamber, but inviting members of a board to a meeting and then yelling and accusing them of theft, that ain't it. Furthermore, the idea they're pushing that Uber could replace or supplement public transit agencies is laughable. Not only is Uber categorically less safe and more expensive, but in most cases, they cannot service folks with disabilities. Not to mention, Uber is facing multiple lawsuits at any given time. Cherriots provided something like 3.3 million rides in Salem alone last year, while Uber barely did a million in the entire state. This tax is absolutely normal and in line with what other cities have done and are doing. In fact, in most cases, it's less. So please remember during a time when our rights and services are being systematically stripped from us, that the people of the chamber are advocating against supporting public services. What they're really saying when they say things like that is they don't want the poor and the disenfranchised to have access to transit, i.e. their businesses. So I guess all that to say is that it's less than 1%, and some of these businesses have payrolls in the millions. They're happy to benefit from an economic boost that allows that always accompanies decent transit, but they don't want to contribute to it. It's a disgusting display of greed by wealthy men who don't want to do their part. I'm truly appalled at the chamber's behavior and would like to remind them to check their privilege, use their big kid words, lower your voice, and maybe go home and sit with why it was so easy for y'all to berate calm women who showed up to hear your concerns and not be your punching bag. So sincerely, Chamber, grow up. Y'all should be ashamed of your behavior. And Cherriots, thank you so very much for the work and you do and your time, and I hope y'all have a lovely day.
Thank you very much. Now I'm going to look to the room, or if there's anyone else online that wants to provide public comment. I don't think anyone else has joined. No? Okay. So that will bring us to our consent calendar. Is there any items on the consent calendar that any board member wishes to pull? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent calendar.
I second.
All right, motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Awesome. All right, so the motion passes unanimously from all those present. And we'll go into our action items. Item 6A, award of contract for charge point charging. General Manager.
Great, thank you. I'll ask Tom Dietz, our Chief Operations Officer, to please come forward and present the report.
All right, good evening, President Enos-Pressy, members of the board. I'm come before you today to ask, shall the board authorize the general manager to enter into a contract with Puget Sound Solar LLC, an authorized provider of ChargePoint Inc., for the purchase of depot charging equipment with a project amount not to exceed $771,913. So before we kind of get into the finances of it, I'd like to take you back in time. So this project will complete Electric Avenue, or the first run of bus charging. This project, however, will not involve any of what you're seeing on your screen here. So no soil disruption, no construction in the moving of dirt and concrete. So what you see on this screen here is what we intend to finish with this project. So on the left part of the screen, well, for me anyway, you'll see what look like big refrigerators. Those are the distribution blocks. And the stubs, or the conduit you see sticking up out of the concrete, is just waiting for your approval so that we can put 4 more of those on those conduit. Going to the other picture, that is where the 8 dispensers will go to create 20 charging locations on Electric Avenue, completing that to charge our buses. And my slides aren't advancing.
That's okay, we're just rife with technical things today.
The suspense. And I know that Director Davidson, that there are thousands and thousands of bad, punny dad jokes in this whole presentation, but I will spare you with it because I might be charged with something later.
They might be charged.
I had to get one in there.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. So the kind of the nitty-gritty is there are 4 distribution blocks which each power the dispensers that you see in the picture here. So each dispenser is 80 kilowatts per hour, and can plug into either side of the bus. This phase 2 will complete Electric Avenue and give us our charging for all 20 battery electric buses. And as you recall, we have 10 on property now and 10 coming in early 2026. So the financial impact of this is it's grant funded through the Congestion Mitigation Air Quality, or CMAQ grant, and FTA 5307, and the local match will come out of the general fund. So staff recommends the board authorize the general manager to enter into a contract with Puget Sound Solar LLC, an authorized provider of ChargePoint, Inc. for the purchase of depot charging equipment with a project amount not to exceed $771,913. May I answer any questions?
All right, do you have any questions? And for folks online, oh, Ian Davidson raised their hand. Thank you. I was going to say, I have the screen up, so it makes it harder, but go ahead, Director Davidson.
Thank you, President Hinojosa Pressey. Thank you for the presentation. Just one question. I was surprised to see that the funding for this was coming from CMAQ and not from the federal grant funds used to purchase these 10 additional buses. If I am remembering correctly, for the first 10 battery electric buses, that funding came with funding for the charging infrastructure. If I'm misremembering that, feel free to let me know. But is there a reason why that's different this time? I mean, ultimately, no skin off my nose because it's federal funding of one color or another, but just curious.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Director Davidson. You're correct. We do have infrastructure and/or charging in our grants for the FY23 Low-No and the CDS grants. The CMAQ grant was a separate grant that we applied for and we were successful in. And so what we're doing is we're using the CMAQ grant to complete Electric Avenue. And then for the next 10 buses, we still have the option to add more infrastructure if we need it. But really, it's a timing situation. So by the time we were awarded these grants, we didn't know what we didn't know. We thought one bus required one charger, and we would have to have a dedicated charger stall for each bus, and now we're realizing we don't. We can actually rotate buses through the chargers if needed, because we thought we'd have to fully charge them every day, and we don't have to do that. So we're going to complete Electric Avenue and see how that goes, because we have 2 additional battery electrics that will be coming in early 2027, and we'll have basically calendar year 2026 to decide whether we need to add more infrastructure, and that would give us that time to do that. And then we would have the grant funding in those 2 grants in order to purchase that infrastructure. Did that make sense?
It did. Thank you so much. It was an electric response.
And positive at that.
Okay. Any questions up here on the dais? No? Okay. Just real quick, did you say that we don't have to charge the buses every day?
Well, we have to charge them every day, but we thought we'd have to go from 0 to 100% every day. And
Okay.
every bus comes in at a different state of charge, so some might get a lot of energy, some might get a little.
And what are we averaging on range right now?
A little over 100 miles on a charge. It really depends. So we'll really start to see when the temperature starts to drop and school goes back in session and Lancaster becomes very congested. We'll see our power usage go up and our range go down. Right now our average temperature right now doesn't really, we don't lose a lot of energy because we're not running the heat or anything like that. So once we get the inductive charging at Keizer figured out, then it should level out. But yeah, it'll be our first full year in running the buses in revenue service will be in October.
Awesome. Thank you.
You bet.
All righty. Well, I will move that the board authorize the general manager to enter into a contract with Puget Sound Solar LLC, an authorized provider of ChargePoint, Inc. for the purchase of depot charging equipment with a project amount not to exceed $771,913.
Seconded.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Yes, Director Duncan.
Thank you so much. I just have had a lot of people talking about the electric buses with me recently in the community, and there's been some concern in the past about cost. And I just want to, for anybody who's not looking at their packet, this is an 80% grant match, which I really appreciate. Most of the buses and the charging equipment has been, and the high percentages for matching, which there's many reasons why we pursued doing some electric buses, but that is in part of it. And I'm just thankful for our partners who have made that a priority and given us the opportunity to diversify the fuel sources that our fleet uses. So that's all.
Thank you very much. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Director Davidson, did I catch your aye?
I'll say it again. Aye.
Thank you. It's always funky, hybrid meetings. All right, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. And agenda item 6B, yard tug purchase. That is a interesting title.
It
General
is.
Manager?
Yeah, thank you. So I'll ask our maintenance manager, Zach Leith, to please come forward.
Good evening, Madam President and members of the board. I come before you tonight to authorize the general manager to enter into a contract with Kirk's Transit Fleet Equipment to purchase a transit pusher or yard tug for the price not to exceed $147,375. So we have a little kind of a PowerPoint to kind of show you what we're talking about, since it is kind of a weird ask. So this is an Eagle TTR 6 TP or yard tug. This is a picture of it. So it's a fully cabbed unit, so has a heater in it, so we can use it during the wintertime. This is designed to tow aircrafts, but this has been modified to tow or for transit use. So it has a 24 volt charging system on it for jump starts. There's air system on it for airing up buses. It's rated to tow 85,000 pounds. So we won't have any problems moving to BEBs that are super heavy. We've had a few instances now where we've had buses in the shop and the term is turned into a brick. They don't want to go anywhere and we can't move them. So we've had them stuck on the hoist for a week at a time, waiting for parts to get here to fix them and stuff. So this will also help us if we ever have some sort of thermal issue where we need to separate a bus and we can't move it. So and this picture here shows the optional snowplow on it. We did not get the optional snowplow. We already have a snowplow for the trucks, so we're good there. But you can see the 2 air tanks on top and then the hose reel and stuff in it. So next slide. And here's a little video. Hopefully it plays. Kind of shows them in the shop moving through. Does it work?
This is the clerk of the board. I was just going to let people on Zoom know there is a possibility you will not hear the sound, so I can share it with you outside of the meeting. Possibly you might not hear it in the room either.
The sound's just kind of some elevator music. It just kind of shows you what it does, how it can push it through the. Pretty short video.
Nice.
The next slide. Oh, we're missing some slides. So here's kind of some specifications of it, how it can tow 85,000 pounds. It's got a drawbar rating of 80,000 or 8,000 pound-feet. So it's got a Tier 4 or compliant 3-cylinder diesel engine, all-wheel drive. So it works well in snow and ice is what their big claim to fame is on this one. So it works well. Next slide. So this here is a picture of the Gillig tow bar. We've ordered one of these as well. So this tow bar will have dual purpose. We can use it on the road for road calls, and we can hook it to the buses to get a easier, cheaper, and faster tow. Because right now, if we have to tow an electric bus, we have to call a truck out of Portland, flatbed it, and it's very expensive, and it takes hours. With this here, we just send somebody out in the shop truck. They hook up the tow bar, the regular tow truck that tows all our normal buses, hooks to it, tows it, and then we can also hook the yard tug to this as well. So you can hook up, especially if you're back in a long distance or something, it's easier with the tow bar versus just using the push bumper. It's on the front, so. And with that, staff recommends the board authorize the general manager to enter into a contract with Kirk's Transit Fleet Equipment for the purchase of a transit tug pusher for a price not to exceed $147,375,000. Can can I answer any questions?
I think we're gonna have some questions and comments or anything, but I
Yeah.
just want to get ahead of that. And like, the first thing I was gonna ask, is this like the ones that they use for planes where they just pull in? And I don't know why that makes me so excited that it's the same thing. And that is, that tug is so cute. Yeah, I got so excited seeing that tug. Are we gonna like paint it blue or anything?
It comes white, and we might wrap it in something, I don't know. We'll see.
I think we should. I think we should like Carsify it and like put like big eyeballs on it as well.
Okay.
Director Lara Midkiff.
Thank you, President. And thank you for your presentation. This is really exciting. This is super cool. Happy to vote for this. Just kind of curiosity questions. One would be, what is kind of the lifespan for this? How long will it last us? And a related question is, when you say it's really expensive to call someone down from Portland to move it, can you qualify that for me so I can understand what kind of cost savings as well as convenience that we're getting out of this?
Yeah, well, thank you for your question. So as far as the tow company coming out of Portland, we've had them tow one already, and it was over $3,000 to tow it from here to Cummins in Portland. It's a special 4-axle lowboy that has to come down because of the weight. So, and you're not allowed to pick them up like a normal bus. We come up, put them on the front tires, it picks the bus up, and then they, tow it down the road and doing a wheelie. You can't do that with well, they don't recommend you doing it with the Gilligs because of the weight. They're worried about frame damage and stuff like that. Gillig says you can do it that way, like a last resort, get it out of the road, set it down type thing. So they recommend the tow bar to hook it to. So this tug won't replace that. We'll still have to have a tow truck do that side of it because top speed of the tug is 17 miles an hour. It's off-road use only, so it'll be for around the yard and shop. So, and as far as the lifespan, not 100% sure. Tom, do you know?
I don't know the exact lifespan of it, but it's a small diesel engine, and our technicians take really good care of our buses. So I would anticipate that this could last 20 years.
And how many times a year do you anticipate needing to have to use it?
It's on the weekly basis, because we can not only use it for our electrics, we'll use it for all the other buses too. So right now, whenever we move a bus around the yard that's not running or anything, we use the forklift. It's a little crude, it works, done it for many years, so this will give us a better option. So
That's great. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone online? No? Okay. Director Lara Midkiff.
I want to make this motion.
Okay, well, before we make the motion, I just do want to just like highlight again that this is also, this funding for this project is FTA 5307 funds, so we were another 80-20 grant match for folks out there, keeping track at home. So our match is less than $30,000, but sure, go ahead. I did want to make the motion for the cute thing, but that's fine.
Sorry. Not really. I move that the board authorize the general manager to enter into contract with Kirk's Transit Fleet Equipment for the purchase of a transit bus pusher or yard tug for a price not to exceed $147,375.
Second.
Oh, we have a
Thank
second
you,
from
Ian.
Director Davidson. How dare you, both of you. Stealing my thunder. Any discussion on the motion?
I really like creative, cost-effective uses of our resources, and this is wonderful. So thank you for bringing this to our attention. I'm happy to vote for it.
Yeah, and before we finalize this, I do want to petition that we put it on social media for them to name it. And I don't care if it's a silly, silly name. It's so cute and it's so fun.
I
Okay.
would also make a request to be there for its maiden voyage, to have it for its first use. That would be awesome, personally. Really like that.
The tug.
Yeah.
Look, this is a long meeting. We've got to have fun where we're at. All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
I
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
thank you.
All right. So on to our next item, which is agenda item 6C, our FTA triennial review final report.
I'll ask our CFO, Denise Leroux, to please come forward and present the report.
Good evening, President Hinojos Pressy and members of the board. Tonight, I am pleased to present the Federal Transit Administration Triennial Review Final Report. The full report begins on page 36 of your packet. So recently, the district participated in the FTA Triennial Review, and this happens at least every 3 years, and it evaluates the district specifically in the areas of compliance with statutory and administrative requirements. And this review reviews 23 different areas of the district. And the review is completed by a partnership with a contracted review firm, which is hired by the FTA, the staff of the FTA, and then also district staff. The process includes a pre-review, gathering a lot of documents in the beginning from a list that is sent to us, a desk review by the reviewers, and then a site visit here on property with district staff. It takes months to go through the triennial review. It's a very extensive review with a lot of questions and a lot of answers that we provide. The district is proud to announce that there were no findings in this review. In the FTA Region 10, there are 44 different agencies who are subject to a review. And because it's done every 3 years, that means that there were 15 that were done in this particular review period. And we were one of 3 districts out of those 15 that completed the review with 0 findings. It speaks very highly to the work of the employees at the district, that it's a continual process, staying compliant, and then also the support that the staff receives from the leadership and from the Board of Directors. Staff recommends the board accept the 2025 Federal Transit Administration Triennial Review Report. May I answer any questions?
Any questions? Yes, Director Carney.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation, CFO LaRue, and congratulations. This seems like quite an accomplishment, and I am impressed with us, but that is not unusual. Could you give me an example of a finding maybe that we have had in the past or that other agencies have, just so I can kind of wrap my head around what they are looking at and for when they perform these reviews?
One of the areas where there are the most findings in all of the reviews across the country tends to fall in the procurement area. There are so many very specific little minor details to each procurement. So that's a very common area. We have had some findings there before, but that's very common for many districts. So that's just one area, but it's very, very, very detailed.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Any other questions? No? Okay.
I move that the board accept the 2025 Federal Transit Administration Triennial Review Report.
I'll second. Any discussion on the motion?
Can I make a comment?
Go ahead.
Thank you. I'd just like to reinforce what CFO LaRue said. This is a big deal in the transit world to get a no findings triennial review, and so you should feel really good about the work that was done by staff. Because the triennial review, that's not something you can put together and make it look good in 2 weeks. It's a sustained process because they go back and check records and procurements and everything. So you can't just fix it in 1 week. So I just want to also thank the staff for the work they did. It's a significant accomplishment and reflects well on the staff and the district.
Yeah, I definitely second those comments. I think it's just like a commitment to excellence and attention to detail from the entire Cherriots team, so thank you very much. And yeah, as soon as I got this in my inbox, I immediately screenshotted it and posted it on my LinkedIn, so I'm very proud of Cherriots. So thank you, team. All right, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye?
Aye.
All right.
All right, motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, and our next item, my computer's taking, this was a big packet, and so my computer's taking a minute to get to where I want it to be. Okay, so now we'll go on to informational reports. Item 7A, fiscal year 25 annual commuter options report.
Thank you. I will ask Kiki Doman, our commuter options coordinator, please come forward, present the report.
All right. Oh, you're good.
Sarah wanted to create community connections up front. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I'm sorry.
Lovely. Good to go. Okay, lovely. President Enos Pressy, members of the board, thank you so much for having me here tonight. I'm thrilled to be here to present the FY25 annual commuter options report. All right, so just as an overview of my time with you is that we'll just do a quick overview of what the commuter options program is, what we did in FY25 and all the fun, great things, and then we'll just open it up for discussion and questions. Perfect. Okay, so the Cherriots Commuter Options Program is a program that is in the Planning and Development Division. And it is a fully grant-funded program that is funded through federal grants provided by our local Council of Governments, so Mid-Willamette Valley Council of Governments, and then also the Oregon Department of Transportation, ODOT. And so we are a grant-funded program that serves 3 counties, and those counties are Marion County, Polk County, and Yamhill County. So in that map right there, or that picture, you'll see our region is the darker red portion in the upper left portion of the state. So basically, we have a program that is focused on all transportation options. So of course, that involves transit, but we also have carpool, vanpool. We help organizations and employers explore their other transportation options, biking, walking, and then also TDM plans or transportation demand management plans and telework. And so basically, I'm going to go through all these activities, but our ultimate goal is to help people find the best and most affordable transportation option that's available to them and that best fits their lifestyle. And we do that through partnering with organizations and employers through outreach and education. Okay, so program activities are directly related to the established work plan that was developed by both Cherriots and the Oregon Department of Transportation. The activities that I talk through tonight are directly related to these priorities on the slide. So the first one that we'll go through is the education and outreach priority. All right, so I'm very happy to share that one of the campaigns that we did for the first time this last year is that we launched a new campaign during Bike Month, which is in May. And this is a month-long campaign that focused on celebrating bikes through different promotions and activities. So we had this initiative. We were able to create a passport activity where that helped promote the events. And it was also a way for participants to track their activities throughout the month-long campaign. And it also showcased our partners, because there was no way we were able to do all of this without our partners. And I did want to, of course, do a quick shout out to them. So City of Salem, Safe Routes to School, Salem Bike Vision, Salem Bicycle Club, Santiam Bicycle, Scott Cycle and Fitness, the Northwest Hub, and Bike Peddler. So this was a great, fun campaign. I approached the city with an idea. They were on board. We approached our partners that I just listed, and we did less than probably a month of planning, and it just rolled with it. So we're just so excited with how it worked out. Everyone was excited, and it just went smoothly. So we're going to talk through kind of what we did. So I mentioned that we did activities. So we had a list of activities listed on a website where folks were able to register. And through that, we had a number of workshops that were hosted by bike shops for kind of 101 workshops for beginner bikers, but then also folks that really wanted to learn how the bike works, and those like kind of more intensive maintenance workshops. Cherriots also hosted 2 of these events. One was the kickoff, and it was a helmet giveaway. So the commuter options program was able to provide helmets to give away and helmet fittings to make sure that not only people were able to get helmets, but they fit correctly. And then also we did a bike rodeo at the end of the month too. So and we had some group rides, thanks to Salem Bike Vision and some other groups. It was just a really, really fun initiative that I'm really, really proud of. So out of these events, we had 98 registrations. So again, I thought it was really great based on the quick turnaround that we had, and 628 views on our event page. And according to all of the partners, everyone is interested in doing another iteration of the campaign next year. Of course, lessons learned, and trying to make it even better next year, but we're really excited about that. And here are just some other photos that kind of showcase that these were taken from the Cherriots hosted events at the Downtown Transit Center. So we had our bike rodeo that was partnered with Safe Routes to School. We also had Cycle Oregon come out too to help with the bike rodeo. Helmet fitting there with a little tyke there with a ladybug helmet. It was so cute. And then also showcasing how kids and bicyclists can properly put their bicycle on the front of a bus. And so multimodal touch on that too. All right, so continuing with the outreach and collaboration. So overall, the Commuter Options Program had 126 opportunities over the last fiscal year to connect and collaborate with other employers and organizations through meetings and presentations and one-on-one consultations through transportation option planning. We also did, I had the opportunity to be interviewed by Mid-Valley Local News. This was an interview that showcased our strong partnership with Safe Routes to School and the school district. They really wanted to, the whole interview was focused on just showcasing how youth are continuing to stay safe through all of these efforts. We highlighted the Youth Zero Pass program and just all of the great work that Cherriots does through travel training. So it was just a really positive, great interview done earlier this year. The Commuter Options Program partnered with the board and launched the very first Try Transit campaign this past year. Partnered and was an active partner at the Marion County's Climate and Health Adaptation Collaborative Group. Staffed an open house for the Center Street Bridge project that is upcoming, and continuing to be an active partner in that project. Participant in the Salem Bike Summit, and then attended various meetings and conferences that are industry related as well for transportation options. All right, on to the next priority of expanding micromobility. So this past year, we were able to launch a feasibility study that is focusing on shared micromobility for the Salem-Keizer region. And so this is a study that kind of builds upon recommendations that were in the long-range transit plan. And one of those recommendations just really pushes Cherriots to be the mobility integrator for our region. And so this is and how micromobility and shared micromobility can be a part of that plan and recommendation too. And so this study is kind of supporting that, and also how shared micromobility can be a first last mile connection solution and enhance and complement transit as well in our fixed route. So just kind of a snapshot of what has been accomplished so far with this study is that the existing conditions assessment has been completed. We had visioning sessions with internal and external stakeholders, a lot of community engagement. I'll speak to a little bit about the events on the next slide, but we also had a community survey that was open for about just over a month, and we had 339 responses once it closed. And so we got a lot of feedback, constructive and positive, and it was just great. And so that fed into and built out some operational and financial models that would best work for our region. Staff selected that, and we're moving forward with completing the guidelines and regulatory framework, and looking to actually review all that next week. So excited with the progression of this project, and looking forward to seeing how and roping in our stakeholders as well, and getting their feedback, and then developing success metrics and the final plan at the end of November. And here, I mentioned outreach. Here are some photos from our consultant team that did it. We held 4 outreach events, one of which being at one of those Bike Month events that Cherriots hosted. It just complemented really well. We had a Bike Month event, and then this was also an opportunity to host a table and just kind of educate attendees about shared micromobility and get that feedback and take the survey. An event at Salem Library, El Ranchero Market, and also Salem Saturday Market as well. And our consultant team reported that they probably spoke to about 132 attendees across all of those events. And here's just another snapshot of just the progression and the timeline of the project as well. And we are on track to finish by the end of November. Very exciting. All right, on to the next priority of growing our van pool program. So just as a reminder, a van pool is essentially a oversized carpool, right? So we have folks that are starting, they start their commute in a similar area, and they share the ride, and they end in a similar destination or the same workplace. And so this past year, Cherriots provided Cherriots also provides subsidies, generous subsidies to these van pools that operate within our 3-county region. So this past year, Cherriots provided 39 van pools with subsidies, and that were filled with 216 commuters, and did a total amount of trips of just over 92,800 trips, which is just so amazing. And so it's been really great to see this program grow and just learn about all the positive impacts of this program. And we learn about these positive impacts by engaging with our employers and that are enrolled into the van pool program. So we actually have a really robust survey that our van pool program, or our van pool contractor administers to our van pool riders, and we did find out this past year that 22 vans that are out of the 39 are filled with folks that speak English as a second language. And out of those 22 vans, we actually, I believe it's 60% would have no way to get to work without this van pool program, which is just, I think, just speaks volumes of like how much transportation options are needed, especially in areas where maybe transit doesn't necessarily serve. And so this is a really great complement to the district. So excited and proud of this program. This is a map. Shout out to the planning team here at Cherriots. I needed a map to showcase our footprint. Currently, we have the largest van pool program in the state, and we wanted to showcase it and just show where people are going, and we're just so excited and proud of it. And so we were able to get our mapping developed, and each employer that is enrolled into the program is assigned a color, and then the larger circles are the destinations, so the workplaces, and the smaller dots are where people are starting from. So that's kind of the footprint of our overall van pool program. Thought it was a kind of a fun snapshot, and now actually our van pool vendor is starting to well, we want more of these. How did you do it? So it's been really fun to also showcase the skills that our planning team has here at Cherriots. Okay, and then one last thing on van pool. We were featured in an article at the Oregon Business Magazine earlier this year. And what was really exciting is that they approached the Commuter Options Program and said that we want to showcase your success, and we were able to also highlight and showcase the employers, because we wouldn't be able to do this without our employers, and then also how the positive impacts of our employers have with van pool and the impacts of their employees. And so it was a really great kind of collaboration with both Ferris Lumber up in the Santiam Canyon, and then also Maduri Farms. So, and then that led to us three entities, the two employers and myself, speaking at the Oregon Employer Commuter Options Summit that was held at the Nike campus up in Beaverton earlier this year. So it was just a really great kind of fun few months showcasing the van pool program. Okay, and then improving access to transportation options. So as mentioned, we highlight, as the Commuter Options Program, we highlight all the transportation options, of course, and that also includes transit. And so the Group Pass program is a commuter benefit program that highlights transit as a very viable and amazing commuter option. In this past year, we had 4,571 rides for the fiscal year 25. For that program. And because we are always exploring and looking for ways how we can improve and reach more people, we're exploring different options for transit pass programs for this next year. And then Get There Oregon is the statewide kind of ride matching database that ODOT, basically everyone that does what I do throughout the state has access to Get There Oregon. And so it's where folks can find carpool partners, open seats and van pools, and then also access emergency ride home programs. And so this database also, we have a Get There Challenge, which is coming up. So watch out for some fun promotions and marketing for the Get There Challenge coming up in October. This year I also was able to work with some other colleagues to help develop a marketing strategy for the Get There Oregon platform, and then also just in the middle of a database cleanup too. Get There has been officially launched for the last 5 years, so we're just kind of doing some maintenance. So that's just some other things that we've been up to with that. And this is a snapshot of the Get There Oregon database that's regional here for this last year. So total trips, we had just over 6,500. And you'll see kind of at the bottom the peaks of logging. So these are all self-log trips that users are able to log. Transit was the most logged mode, with remote work and walking being close second and third. And then just real quick, looking ahead to the next fiscal year, FY26. We established, in partnership with ODOT and Cherriots Leadership and the Mid-Willamette Council of Governments, that a new agreement for the Commuter Options Program. So looking forward to incorporating new goals and priorities into our year. We're also slated we will complete the shared micromobility study, which we're so excited for, be an active partner for the Center Street Bridge project. Again, explore new employer programs and how we can better serve our community. We have the Get There Challenge coming up, as I mentioned, always safety education and thinking of innovative ways to make sure that folks feel safe and know how to be safe. And then always elevating the story of transportation options and how we can remain visible. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
All right, do we have any questions? Yes, Director Laura Midkiff.
Hi, thank you, as always, Kiki. I have a question about the VAMPOO program. I love this program. And one thing I already regret is not having spent more time supporting it and being vocal about it while a member of the board. Help me understand, though, some of these numbers. So the total trips that you have listed is just under 93,000. Is that for FY25 alone? And if so, how did you get to that? And I don't understand that number. How did we get? It's a lot of trips.
Yeah. So it is for FY25 alone. So we get reports from our VAMPOO vendor every month. And these trips are based off of individual riders within the van pool. So every day they'll be tracking trips. So that means out of the, I believe, 216 commuters, they are tracking their trips every day, and then and we add that up monthly.
Okay.
Those are passenger trips.
Those are passenger trips.
It's cumulative, so even if it's one car trip, if there's 5 passengers, it's actually 5 passenger trips. So
Okay.
that's what we're saving additional extra travel trips. That's the whole purpose of having that.
Got it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense to me. Thank you. Because basically that would mean 427 trips per person per year. Okay, perfect. I feel good about that. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's awesome.
Okay, any other questions? Yes, Director Davidson.
Thank you, President. Thank you for the presentation. Just one question. I'm wondering if you could share any more about the group pass possibilities that might be coming our way for fiscal year 2026. Could you give us a teaser?
Oh, absolutely. Well, we've been exploring different ways on how to better the capabilities of our existing e-fare platform, so UMO, and how we can distribute passes with employers. So we can possibly do frameworks like other agencies do that are programs based on usage. We have tier-based that will basically, as employers enroll and how many employees they have, that will be their, tier price is determined based on how many folks are enrolled. So I think we're still kind of fleshing out some of the details of all of that. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm very excited to see more and excited to support whatever comes of it. Thank you.
Okay. Director Laura Midkiff.
I apologize. I have one more. Forgive me for not knowing this, Kiki, but do you coordinate our free pass program? We give passes out to folks, community partners locally. Who does that?
I do not.
The general manager's office.
Okay, never mind. I'll reserve that question for later. I thought maybe you did for commuter options. I thought maybe that might be under your
Sitting
purview.
right next to you.
Oh, it's you. Great. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Great question.
No question.
Okay. Is there no further questions?
Can I just comment?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just look forward to this report. I love hearing about the work that you do. It's so incredibly vital. Cherriots cannot do everything, but this goes a long way to bridging a lot of those gaps. I think most of us have been a bit in the community even more and speaking with even more people and hearing a lot of the back and forth, many of which are problems not even in our purview. We're talking to people about parking downtown, et cetera, because when you're in transit, it comes up, whether it's, under you or not. And I'm so appreciative, even within our own office, we've been talking about transportation options and what the needs are for our business and getting everybody in The cost of living has gone up a lot. And I know I'm not the only household that is making the decision to be a one-car household. And programs like this really help bridge the gap for people and make all the difference. And so I'm so thankful. I'm thankful that we have grants for programs like this that would go outside of the normal purview of Cherriots. So thank you. I'm appreciative that we provide the platform that allows the grant to be useful as well. So just so thankful for the work that you do. It's so truly applicable, and it comes up all the time in all the conversations I have and in my personal life. So thank you, Kiki.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, so that brings us to agenda item 7B, fiscal year 2025 completed projects and fiscal year 2026 project highlights. General Manager.
Thank you. I'd ask Melissa Kidd, our Senior Manager of Project and Contract Administration, to come forward.
Good evening, President Ina Host-Pressey and members of the board. I am delighted actually to be here today to give an update on projects. So today during our presentation, we're going to be talking about the completed projects in fiscal year 25, and then some project updates, and then some little teaser project highlights for fiscal year 26. As a reminder, the PMO or Project Management Office officially started in December of 2023. And since that time, we've implemented the Project Control Plan. And that resulted in improved project readiness for procurement, improved project planning and initiation process, and have implemented execution phase monitoring, controlling, and close out best practice strategies, ensuring project success. But project success is not done in a silo. It takes a large group of individuals to collaborate and diligently work through project phases as a team to achieve successful completion. So I'd like to say a huge shout out and thank you to project advisors, our sponsors, implementation teams, source evaluation committees, grants, finance, procurement, and project administrators. It really does take a big group of people. This visual representation, and shout out to Kira for the watermarks not being there this year, is a sampling of completed fiscal year 25 projects. Let's dig in. Thank you. Thank you. This project depicts the fire panel that was installed at our Del Webb facility to replace the unsupported fire sensor control panel, it's a big mouthful, with a current and up-to-date model within the same footprint. This is the overhead fluid dispenser that replaced old equipment that had reached its useful life, ensuring accurate monitoring of the metered fluids such as oil, coolant, air, and other lubricants. There we go. So the computer-aided dispatch and automated vehicle location intelligent transportation system, or CAD AVL for short, provided by Avail Technologies, is executed and has entered into the warranty period. We're stoked about that. The CAD AVL project delivers real-time operational data, vehicle tracking, and fleet management capabilities to support efficient transit operations, enhance service reliability, and improve passenger experience. It really is a critical project. We are delighted to have this project fully executed, which was made possible due in large part to our very large implementation team, project sponsor, project advisor, chief deeds, with collaboration from Avail. Thank you. The high voltage project was a training to certify the maintenance team to safely and efficiently service the BEB fleet. This is a picture of the handbook that's kept in the shop for reference. Really was a critical project in order to ensure our team members were prepared to work on our new fleet. So this beautiful bus represents a first for the Cherriots ever, a first ever for the Cherriots, as it is a CNG fueled lift bus. 3 of the 7 buses have arrived on property. It's a turtle top, which is funny, but a bus that is retrofitted with CNG in Indiana and then shipped to Seattle for the remainder of the Cherriotizing. And I have been told that the other 4 are in fact in Seattle, so they are close to home right now getting their Cherriotization. So exciting for our riders, the community, but also Team Cherriots. You may recall last year that phase 2 of the in-ground lift projects were of huge holes in the shop floor. So this is from last year, but there are no more holes anymore in the shop floor, which I'm sure Zach, our maintenance manager, is very excited about.
I'm just watching him nod his head.
Is it going? Yeah, okay. Next one. There we go. All of the in-ground lifts are completely installed and working as anticipated. So in fiscal year 25, Cherriots was able to execute several contracts that were expiring as well. We have a new and fully executed maintenance uniform contract, tire contract, and landscape contract, in addition to the renewable natural gas or RNG revenue contract. So in fiscal year 25, there were a total of 67 unique projects, of which 28, or approximately 42%, were completed. Within those 67 unique projects, there are many touch points, such as the project control plan, which includes the development of scopes of work, funding tabs, independent cost estimates, and closeout forms, to name just a few. Each touch point is a team member and or implementation team member completing needing documents, meeting with each other to discuss the project, and overall engaging, which requires a lot of time and effort. So it's something to be really proud of, to have 42% approximately of our 67 unique projects completed for fiscal year 25. So this is a mock-up of a board that is in my office where we visually track projects' progression. So it is literally, every project has a cute little colored tab. This is way more readable than what's on my whiteboard right now. The carryover projects are displayed on the right, and the completed projects are displayed on the left. The execution area is empty, as we had all the intended projects for fiscal year 25 completed. So all of the intended projects were completed. We're very, very excited, and that's why that execution square is empty. All right, we have several fiscal year 25 carryover projects that are in a variety of different phases that are anticipated to be completed in fiscal year 26, which are shown on this slide. And then we have a total of 28 projects totaling over $40.1 million in fiscal year 26, representing both new and carryover projects. This list is not exhaustive, but it's a little sampling of fiscal year 26 projects to come. We are hard at work with a focused effort on moving the approved projects through execution and completing them by June 30th of 2026. So what does the fiscal year 26 board look like? Here it is. We currently have 30 projects in the to-do, and we're wanting to move them over into the execution or doing phase. So all of those 30 and more, as we add to that beautiful list, are going to be moved over into the doing or execution, and then we will be going into the done by June 30th of 2026. All right, let's do some project updates for the South Salem Transit Center project. We received NEPA concurrence in December of 2024 and appraisal concurrence in July of 2025. A full update is to come to the board at a later date. All right, in regards to the Dell Web Fence and Security Upgrades Project, a biological assessment of threatened and endangered species was required and completed in June of 2025. With this requirement done, we will submit the NEPA reevaluation form to move that project forward. The Comprehensive Operational Analysis Existing Conditions Report, long names, draft was submitted for review. Currently, the consultant is working on bus stop balancing, transit center analysis, and vehicle optimization, while the Cherriots team works on procuring a data cleansing software that is needed to ensure the project can reach implementation. Farebox replacement project demonstrations and interviews were conducted, and the source evaluation committee, reference checks and final scoring have been completed as well, and then the board approved the project in July of this year. So excited. And then procurement is working with our selected vendor on agreeable to both parties contract. And finally, the micro mobility feasibility study and implementation plan project, which Kiki so excitedly told us about. She mentioned interviews and visioning workshops and community focus groups with internal and external stakeholders were conducted. And then a survey, I believe she said, with 339 surveys completed. That is a significant number and not something that all projects see. So that was a huge, exciting number, as well as a bike rodeo have been completed, and they're on target to complete in November. All right. This concludes the project update presentation. I really appreciate and thank you all for your time, and may we answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? No? Well, I mean, I think I can say that we're all very excited of all the progress that has been made, so thank you very much. And yeah, no questions, no comments? Oh, comment? All right, Director Duncan?
I just want to say how great it is that we were able to complete all projects. I know that that is not going to be feasible every single year. Lots of things happen, but that's awesome and must feel really good. So just big round of applause. This is an impressive list. And there's some of my personal pet projects on this next year's list. So I'm personally very excited about bus stop accessibility as well as the new fare boxes, both of which were reasons I joined the board to begin with. So just very excited for the future and very impressed with what you've done. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right, so that will bring us to agenda item 7C, fiscal year 2025, quarter 4, strategic plan report. General Manager?
Thank you. So I'll ask our Strategic Initiatives Administrator, Bobby Kidd, to please come forward.
All right, good evening, President Ina Hospresi and members of the board. Very excited to be here this evening to wrap up fiscal year 25 strategic plan and to kick off fiscal year 26. We are a couple months into it. Yes, a couple months into it already. And although I'm not going to be reporting the quarterly progress for fiscal year 26, we've kicked it off already, so I want to definitely talk about it. Oh, perfect. Okay. So as a reminder, I always like to start out with the guiding principles. This is what we do and how we show up each day at Cherriots. This was established about 4 years ago, and this is something that we consistently talk about as an agency and continue to work on. There we go. Okay, so this is going to be the last quarter that you're going to see this particular set of success outcome goals, because we're wrapping up this fiscal year, and then we're going to have a refreshed set of success outcome goals for fiscal year 26. But just as a reminder, the community value goal for fiscal year 25 was to maintain a community value score of 84. and we improved by 1 point. So we're at 85. And then for the customer satisfaction, our goal was to maintain a customer satisfaction net promoter score for fixed route as 52 and lift at 51. And we far exceeded our goal, which is 56 for local and 69 for lift. And in September, we're going to be implementing the new community value and customer satisfaction surveys. So you'll be able to get those results here shortly, since they're going to be distributed and conducted in the fall, so September and early October. And same goes for the employee engagement survey. So we're going to get those results. It starts actually in just under 2 weeks, and we're going to be able to have those results next quarter. Okay, so we had 16 organizational tactics for fiscal year 25 under those 4 success outcome buckets of community value, culture of ownership, that's the employee engagement piece, the customer satisfaction, and the financial sustainability. So I used to highlight, but I love hearing from the chiefs, and I hope all of you do too. So we're going to be hearing from Chief Dietz this evening to talk about SITS, which has already been mentioned this evening, but I would like to give Chief Dietz a couple moments to highlight the progress on this initiative in fiscal year 25.
Thank you, Bobby. Really hard to follow senior manager kid on I don't have near the enthusiasm and excitement, but it really was a pretty monumental task. We put together a very large implementation team, 1 person at least from every functional area within the district, because this project touches every functional area in the district, and sometimes 2 individuals from there. And the team really brought the passion to make sure that this project was a success. We awarded a contract to Avail Technologies, who matched our passion to make this project a success. This board approved the contract in August of 2023, and we signed the contract in December of 23, kicked it off in January, and then we were 100% installed by December 13th of 2024, so exactly 1 year after the contract was signed, and we entered into warranty on June 1st of this year. And it certainly has had its glitches, its bugs, but Avail is very responsive, and we're working through those. We're down to 2 hanging chads, if you will, on the project that are left over from implementation, but we're confident we'll get those rectified very quickly. But next, it's just another upgrade. So we'll be getting My Avail version 11 in the spring of next year, which brings, I might say, many features that this implementation team suggested. So as you recall, last month, Cherriots won an award for being a pioneer for the refresh rate on their on the real-time passenger information. So we intend to continue that. Our team still remains engaged, and Avail is also equally as engaged. So pretty excited about the turnout on that project.
Thank you so much. It's always difficult to narrow down who I want to hear from, but that's a major success for fiscal year 25. So thank you very much for sharing. Okay, so this is our quarterly tactic dashboard. Every quarter, tactic owners, they report on the progress of their tactics. We meet together, and then it formulates this dashboard. So in the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to notice the tactic status for the end of the fiscal year. And we'll start on the left-hand side, which is our divisional. 17 out of 20 of the divisional tactics are complete over the course of fiscal year 25. That leaves 3 that are deferred. So out of those 20, 3 were initially started, but because of timing and other situations that arose, they are wrapped up in next year, fiscal year 26's strategic plan. And those include the service enhancement, the MARTI development and utilization of the procurement vendor service application, and then the talent acquisition data. So not that those are forgotten, they're just deferred to fiscal year 26, and they're currently being worked on 20 divisional goals is quite a lot, and so it just made sense to move those forward. And then there were 16 organizational, as I mentioned earlier, and we have 12 completed out of 16, and that leaves 4 deferred. Those are the COA, or the Comprehensive Operations Analysis, Zero Emissions Infrastructure Roadmap, the Mentor-Mentee Plan, and Emerging Leaders Program. So those are also wrapped up in the fiscal year 26 strategic plan, or work plan. Okay, so that was a wrap up of fiscal year 25, but I think it's nice to take a moment to reflect upon the last several years. So this is the Wheel of Awesomeness, or the Wheel of Completion. I haven't decided on a final name for it, but this in 2023 was the first year of implementation of the strategic plan, work plan as we know it, this version. And there were 23 organizational tactics that year. We did not divide at that point divisional and organizational, so there were just 23 total. But if you remember, that year was the year the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Plan was adopted, the Long Range Transit Plan was finalized and adopted, and that's when we started the cadence for the community and customer satisfaction surveys, and those are just regular business now. We complete those yearly. So in 2024, we had 13 organizational tactics and 22 divisional tactics. E-fare was implemented that year, battery electric buses, the integration of those, and MARTI. And that was more of the internal side. So 2025, we had 16 organizational, and we had 20 divisional, the SITs that we just talked about, safety and security improvements, and the merit-based performance system was implemented in 2025 as well. Which brings us to fiscal year 26. We have 9 organizational goals set and 15 divisional goals. And that includes the COA, which I just mentioned, creating community connections, and the climate action plan. Okay, so this is the front cover of the fiscal year 26 strategic plan, and we also have the work plan. So they are published on our website, on our portal, which is our internal portal, and we rolled it out to all employees in the beginning of July during the in-person GM roundtables. And all of the chiefs and goal owners were able to get in front of employees and talk about the specific goals, which is on the next slide. These are the organizational goals for fiscal year 26. There are 9 total. Again, always under those 4 buckets of success, which is under community, we have the climate action plan and the creating community connections project. Under customer satisfaction, we have enhancement of external technology and evaluation of safety and security systems. Under culture of ownership, we have cultivate and nurture an inspired and high-performing workforce. That's where, from fiscal year 25, that mentor-mentee program and the leadership program, the emerging leaders program, that's housed underneath that goal. And the internal Cherriots committee alignment. Finally, for financial sustainability, we have established district financial policies and strategic grant and funding framework for the capital investment plan. So there's 9 there, and then now we have 15 divisional. And those are goals set by each division. They're not always cross-divisional, so that's why they're housed under the divisional, although there are a lot of partners working on each of these projects. Okay, so in conclusion, I would like to remind us that although this is wrapping up fiscal year 25 in this report, that we are already 2 months into fiscal year 26. And we'll be back here in a couple months reporting on Q1, and the work is already getting started or going strongly. And I know in the past board meeting, there was the revealing of the TransDash Summit Awards, and I had the opportunity to be able to attend that conference virtually and to receive on behalf of Cherriots, so I just feel really honored to do that, and just super proud of how Cherriots is being recognized. And then TransDash, speaking of TransDash, they're going to be on site in September to update the metrics that we're going to be reporting on as an agency on our TransDash dashboard. They're offering a lot more now than when we first got it set up, and so we're going to take a deep dive into those and be able to refresh our dashboard and make sure that it's most up to date for our website. I would love to take any questions if you have them, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? Comment from Director Duncan?
Yes. I remember when we first brought on consultants to help us with this project, and it's been many years since then at this point, and we've received many updates from you. And I just, in this moment, feel like that was a very worthwhile investment. I feel like we've grown a lot, and the deliverables have been on point every time. You've done a very good and very clear job explaining what has been done and what we have coming up, and I just love it. And I just am really appreciative, so thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Anyone else? No? Online? It's so awkward to do hybrid meetings because it's always like I'm looking at the screen, but I think that Director Lara Midkiff thinks I'm just staring at them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so that brings us to agenda item 7D, creating community connections campaign update.
Great, thank you. So I'll be pinch hitting this report this evening. Our Chief Employee and Labor Relations Officer, I.L. Rose, is on vacation this week.
Well deserved.
Who's overseeing the communications plan, so I'll do my best to fill in for her. So you have a staff report that was provided to you at your table. Just to reiterate, we are in the engagement phase. Over the past several weeks, we've had consistent and welcoming presence at local events, and I'll talk about some of those in detail in a minute. All with the idea of bringing forward information about our service enhancements while also building relationships with our riders and neighbors. Participation has been steady, with hundreds of community members engaging directly with us at each outing, especially at a series of family fun days we did over the summer, really engaging people, not so much on a little bit about the service enhancements, but really to make those connections. We'll have service enhancement things coming up in just a second. We've also, some board members and myself have had one-on-one meetings with community members about service enhancements. We are refining our approach each time, so we're ensuring consistency in our messaging. We're also looking ahead to additional tabling events and open houses as scheduled. So to date, when it relates specifically to the service enhancement plan, we've had 4 presentations since July 31st. We were all at the Salem Area Chamber of Commerce Business Advocacy Committee meeting. We've met with the Salem Business Journal Editorial Board, the Keizer Chamber Government Affairs Committee, and the Marion County Democrats. Also, those are presentations, also at individual meetings. So I met a week or so ago with staff from the Mid-Valley Realtors to prepare for our presentation coming up next month for them. And then along with our board president, I met with staff from Salem Health to talk about the service enhancement and the payroll tax. And I know Director Davidson met with that person also separately. We also have a series of upcoming presentations. You all have the handout with the list of events. We have one left in August. It will be at the Punks in the Park this weekend with the information booth. And then you can see a whole list of September events. They're a combination of open houses to promote the service enhancement plan, as well as just general community outreach events where we will be sharing the community outreach plan, but those are really designed to just build relationships with people in various events. So I do want to highlight, and you do have a flyer, the 4 open houses that we'll be having in various parts of the community. We will, announcing it tonight, we will begin tomorrow promoting these in a variety of media outlets and through email lists and social media. So we have one at the Senator Hearing Room on Monday, September 8th. We'll also be at West Salem Ross. We'll host one at the Keizer Transit Center and also at the Seymour Center at Portland Road and Bill Fry Drive. So that will all go out. This is an opportunity for people to come in. It will be a round robin type of event. People could drop in during that time period. They don't need to be here for the whole time. They can learn about the plan, learn about how we're proposing to fund it, ask their questions, get straight information from us on what that looks like. We have some great visuals that they can see, current levels of service versus proposed levels of service. So I would encourage people to come to those events to really learn about that plan. And then there's also a variety of events in addition to that. Would highlight, we are going to be at Salem Saturday Market, the West Salem Thursday Market. We'll be at Corbin University to really promote our new service to that college with Route 22. We'll be at the Latino Business Alliance. There's also the Negocio Expo in November that we'll be participating in. So that calendar will be getting published, and you have all of that with you. So a lot's going on. We're really moving into that period of time where we're sharing information and gathering information, really listening to what people think about the service plan and how we're funding it. So we also have a new video to display with Director Duncan. And because of the technical problems we're having, so at the end of the meeting, we're going to show it. But I'm afraid if we switch over, we may lose connection. And then we'll have it all emailed out to you, and it'll be on our website as well. So I think it's really great. We'll look forward to that. We also, just today, were asked to present at the Southeast Keizer Neighborhood Association in September. We have the Mid-Valley Realtors Government Affairs Committee, and Marion and Polk County's League of Women Voters have reached out to us. We're trying to get something scheduled earlier. They proposed at their November meeting, but we're hoping to do that earlier, so we're working with them. And then it seems like there's more being added every day. So with that, I'd be happy to entertain any questions on the outreach activities.
Any questions from folks? Or comments? You kept telling me comments, so that's why I was looking at you.
I love the outreach. It's wonderful. No, truly, you want me to give some comments as I did for
No,
everyone
I meant
else?
that like every time I ask for a question, you tell me that you have a comment. So I was just wanted to make sure that I was being inclusive.
I feel included. Thank you.
Okay. Nothing online? All right. Well, thank you very much. And we appreciate you pinch hitting.
Do my best.
Okay, so that brings us to our reports. General Manager's report. General Manager.
Great, thank you. So you may have heard, so tomorrow begins the special session at the state legislature on the transportation package. There was a public hearing on Monday by the Joint Interim Committee on Transportation. I did testify at that hearing on behalf of the Oregon Transit Association. Tomorrow afternoon, they will continue that public hearing. There was over 150 people signed up, and they didn't get to hear everyone. So they will continue that. Can tell you that we're really trying to bring a rider there. So our CAC member, Marja Byers, will be testifying tomorrow from a rider's perspective and her role. So looking forward to that. For those that were able to come to Family Fun Day a couple weeks ago at the baseball game, thank you for that. That was a great event, and appreciate the Cherriots Connect Committee leading that effort. In a couple weeks, I'll be attending the APTA annual meeting in Boston, along with a couple of staff members. And I will be on vacation next week. And Deputy General Manager Trumbull will be the GM Pro Tem during my absence. And I do have, one other thing. So be prepared for a special meeting at our September 11th work session. At the beginning, that'll be focused on South Salem Transit Center. We need some board action for us to move to the next phase of that. And I'll ask Chief Dietz to give us an update on the Community Advisory Committee's recruitment.
Thank you, General Manager Pollock. So as you're keenly aware, we have now launched our restructuring realignment of the Community Advisory Committee. Much hard work by the DEI subcommittee from the board. Appreciate all of your efforts in going through the bylaws and restructuring and the thoughtfulness behind that. We developed a work plan on how we are going to accomplish all of these things, and when you look at it, it's quite an exhaustive list, but happy to say we're very comfortably ahead of schedule on that whole process. So internal talking points either have been distributed, they have been distributed, flyers have been created, much joy to be had on all of our communication on this, which is great. Social media campaign is kicking off. We have our very first post going out tomorrow. So I don't know which platform that's on.
The social media post will be going out Saturday, and I believe it'll be on Instagram and Facebook.
So our partner outreach will begin early next month, targeting key partners in the local chambers and colleges. And then press release also has been prepared, and we plan to communicate much more thoroughly and better than we have in the past. So we've increased number of seats on the CAC now, and so our intention is to fill all of those seats and maybe have a wait list as well. So that's the update on the CAC.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I think from there, I just want to know our board committee assignments. There have been some changes, and then just want to highlight our new finance subcommittee. And so please, directors, just refer to your committee assignments and make sure that everything seems good to go there for you. And now we'll just move into our Board of Directors reports. I'm going to start online. So Director Navarro, if you're on, do you want to go first?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, President Hinojosa Pressy. I'm sorry I couldn't make it tonight. I've been a little under the weather, and so I'm going to end my report early tonight and get some much needed rest. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Director Davidson?
Thank you, President. Good evening, everyone. So I think I had some connection issues before, but I wanted to make a comment about the triennial report. So I wanted to note that in addition to the normal items addressed in a triennial report, this also included several different items that came about as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and the increased federal funding that way. So CARES, CRISA, and many governments received that funding, and with that came a lot of complexity on how to handle that funding and how to properly account for that funding. And even with that additional scrutiny, Cherriots passed with no findings. I have been unable to find more recent data, but according to the FTA, between 2015 and 2017, the Federal Transit Administration conducted 615 reviews, and only 43 of those, or in other words, 7%, came in with no deficiencies. I would expect similar numbers now, a little less than 10 years into the future. So plus or minus a few percentage points, we're talking about 10% of transit districts nationwide are getting no findings in their triennial report. And Cherriots is among those organizations that received a no findings. It is truly remarkable in every sense of the word. And so I would like to applaud everyone who had a hand in that, both explicitly and then implicitly, because this reflects the organization as a whole. I am incredibly proud to serve as a board member of Cherriots, to have a little bit of an opportunity to reflect and represent the organization that is Cherriots, because of all of the fine work that you do. I'd like to maybe parlay that into the discussion about the work that we do. I have noticed in the community, much of our work has been mischaracterized, and misinformation has been deliberately spread by certain members of our community and certain organizations. That is incredibly frustrating and disappointing. I recently had a conversation with someone who is long tenured in this community and very civically involved, and they mentioned that this looked a lot like and felt a lot like 2015, when Cherriots was engaged in a ballot measure, and the chamber vociferously opposed that ballot measure. According to them, it was very bloody. They're not the only person who has said that this has reminded them of 2015. I think that is noteworthy, because Cherriots has not said a whole lot. The Cherriots board has not said a lot. Our critics and our opponents are the ones with blood on their hands, if we're going to use the metaphor of bloody. Now, I'd like to address some of the misinformation head on. There have been some in our community that have said that the chamber did not support the bill. I have that gave Cherriots the legal authority to pass a payroll tax. I went back into the legislative record. This was not something that I was here for. So I went back, watched the tape, and lo and behold, the CEO of the chamber is there, both in the House committee and in the Senate committee, testifying in support of the bill. He indicated to me that at some point in the process, they pulled their support from the bill. The legislative record does not make that clear. In fact, they were the ones who requested the amendment. There was only one amendment ever requested. It pulled the timeline for the implementation of a payroll tax from 2024 to 2026. And their support was there present in the House committee and in the Senate committee. And what I find most noteworthy is that it was bipartisan support, unanimous support out of both legislative committees. And in fact, on multiple occasions, legislators said that they had some questions and concerns about the bill, but because both the chamber and Cherriots were supportive of the bill, they would support the bill. I don't know what has changed for the chamber, but for me, speaking for myself as a board member, I am ready to get to work. I am ready to make the investments to, as the then CEO said, to put Cherriots and to put Salem on a level playing field. Those are his words. The level playing field that he is referring to is, of course, the payroll tax. The level playing field is putting us on par with our neighboring cities, Eugene, Springfield, which have just about equal population. And so I find it very, very telling that they have chosen to obscure and misinform the public on the facts of the matter. It is incredibly frustrating, and I look forward to having a robust conversation with the community. That ends my report. Thank you, President.
Thank you, Director Davidson. Director Laura Midkiff.
Thank you, President Cherriots Board, for my anti-penultimate report.
Anti-penultimate.
The one before the last one. I will give a couple updates from MWACT. I stepped in for Director Duncan. This is, from my understanding, maybe the first time they've met in a while. So there were voluminous updates from the ACT. a couple of them I thought were kind of general knowledge, good to know sort of things. They discussed at length the Center Street seismic retrofit, which Director Carney has been keeping us apprised of. Things I hadn't heard that I learned in the course of the conversation was that they anticipate having 2 lane closures on the Center Street Bridge for about 3 to 4 months, which is significant for those of us who live in West Salem and for those who don't, because everyone's impacted by West Salem traffic. And that there will be as many as 4 days where all lanes will be closed, which is significant as well. So good luck getting over the bridge. There will be a singular lane open on the Marion Street Bridge, as far as my understanding, for mostly emergency services, but also on the full closure days for regular traffic. I think Sadie and I were having a conversation offline beforehand, which is why they don't use the pedestrian bridge for emergency services. It's not clear to me, as way back when that was converted into a pedestrian bridge, that was the intended purpose of it, from what I can recall. Although it was however many years ago, 10, 15 years ago. Let's see, there was a couple other ODOT updates that they gave. I think maybe for us, one of the relevant updates was that the COG will no longer be staffing MWACT. They no longer have the capacity to do that, and MWACT has terminated their contract with the COG. And so it will be ODOT staff staffing all acts statewide, which they were pretty transparent. It's pretty problematic for them. They really don't have the capacity to do that, and it really reduces the acts to even more than they probably already were, kind of bare bones entities. And so it's kind of the future of their efficacy is kind of in question at this time. Another big portion, these are kind of more ODOT specific things, but they're transportation related, so I bring them up. It was discussed at length about how ODOT funding is impacting maintenance crews, including closing down Detroit and Sisters sites, which really will impact travel for folks coming out of the valley and over the mountain range. One thing they didn't mention that I would be remiss to not mention myself, as someone who's the grandson of a maintenance worker at ODOT, who worked in sign crew for 11 and a half years before he retired, is that you lose your job in maintenance in Salem, and you can find another job if you're lucky. You lose your job in maintenance in Southern Oregon or Eastern Oregon, and that's really hard. And so the impacts, not that losing your job isn't hard for anybody, but sometimes these are for folks who are working class people or blue collar people who are really working hard. Sometimes this is one of the most benefit eligible, really wonderful jobs that you can have. And the impacts of these for local communities in rural Oregon is significant and disproportionate. And I often feel like we don't talk more about that. I often think of my grandfather when we hear about these budget cuts for folks, especially at ODOT and other places across the state. Other updates was maybe threefold. One was that immediately after our, what did Ian just say, robust conversation with the Chamber on the 31st, I had the wonderful pleasure of getting on Route 19 and Route 21 on my way home. And Route 19 was about half full, and Route 21 was so full, people were standing. So, just for nothing, I guess. And when I was on Route 19 the other day, it was very hot, and someone was sharing, I thought would be worth sharing with the board and with you all here, quote, "Cherriots is the best ride in town, and to use her language, cool, licensed, insured, and sober." Which I thought was great. I also wanted to just highlight, I didn't catch the gentleman's name, but maybe Alan or somebody can figure out who this would be, but I was going home the other night on August the 11th, about 5:45 on Route 21, and there were someone who, the operator was stuck in traffic and couldn't get to the bus, to ride the bus, and someone really stepped in and helped us get on time, back on time, and get the people home. And that person was driving bus number 1951, about 21. They really appreciated his, everyone who was involved there on site at the transit center, but him in particular for stepping up and getting folks home. People were frustrated and tired and wanted to get home. And I really appreciated him for that. The question I was going to pose to Kiki earlier, I'll just kind of make by way of comment today, which is one of the hats that I wear in town is that I chair the Human Rights Commission for the city of Salem. And we've been doing kind of community conversations with folks. We've set up this task force around disability rights in Salem, and we're doing a bunch of outreach. And one of our first conversations was with folks who are residents in supportive housing at Sequoia Crossings. One of the reasons I was taking up 19 the other day, and they were sharing that while they appreciated the free bus passes, their experience, again, these are folks who live in supportive housing, their experience getting them has been pretty fraught at times. I'm not sure how much of that we know about or how much of that is true for everybody, but they were pretty unanimous in their frustrations. These are often folks who don't have cars or who rely exclusively on transit and appreciate the proximity to transit of being at Sequoia Crossings. It's like half a block away, but they can't afford to ride it even at the reduced fare, and they sometimes rely on their free passes to get, go to the doctor or get groceries. And their experience so far at Sequoia Crossing, which has only been open for about 1.5 years, has been that they maybe will get 2 or 3 or 4 a month, and that for them is very difficult. And so I don't want to overextend Cherriots' generosity to a point where maybe it's not practicable for us, but it was thought-provoking for me, and maybe a place of reflection on how we can better support them. They also were talking about how sometimes that there's a scarcity of passes for proportional to the residents, and a lot of folks just don't have access to them. And that may not be on us, but maybe it raises questions around what happens to the passes once we get them to folks who are in a position to deliver them to folks who need them. And so that's just something to think about, and maybe talk to our partners about in more in greater depth. So apologies for the long and rambling update, but that's it for me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think we have a little note to your bridge question, but also, I guess I'll probably steal General Manager Pollock's thunder, is that, good luck getting across the bridge, but you can ask Cherriots to help you out. General Manager?
That's a great segue. Thank you. So I just wanted to let you know, and whoever's listening know. So we are working right now with ODOT on the potential to help mitigate the congestion by having transit service back and forth during that construction, as well as when the bridge is entirely shut down and there's the contraflow lane, to having access to that for transit buses as well as emergency vehicles. So we're working on with staff to staff on how to make that happen.
All right, Director Carney?
Thank you, President Hinojosa Pressey. I will keep my report fairly brief, though I will share with the group that the Salem-Keizer Area Transportation Study Policy Committee met earlier this week on Tuesday. And among our agenda items were updates to the Title VI plan, which has been updated in coordination with ODOT to honor a lot of the things that we have previously committed to that were existing in federal orders that have now been rescinded, and it has been otherwise incorporated into the body of the Title VI plan with the help of ODOT staff. So grateful for that. Kim Sappener, who is COG staff, presented the draft public participation plan, which is now out for a 45-day public comment period. And there was robust conversation around the process of, or around selecting a group of projects for funding in the upcoming 25, or 27, 29, 25, 27. I'm getting my plans a little bit mixed up because of the legislative work I'm doing in my day job. But the upcoming Metropolitan Transportation Improvement Plan, and I am intentionally trying to speak through my acronyms because at our policy committee meeting, we had the new school board member who is Mel Robbins? Mel Fuller, and we buried that that person in acronyms. She had to like call us out a few different times, and she was like, can somebody just, what does that mean? What are we talking about? And it really makes you appreciate just how kind of jargon-packed and insider language those meetings in particular can be, because there are so many acronyms in that space. But I will say, while not with a unanimous vote, the city of Keizer dissenting, we did choose option 3 for the discretionary funding projects, which include the South Salem Transit Center, and on the illustrative projects, the replacement of the paratransit vehicles, along with a few other adjustments from what we had seen previously for the priority projects and illustrative projects, sort of shifting things around a bit for the city of Salem. Happy to share this. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It is on the illustrative, but the replacement of paratransit vehicles is on the illustrative list, as well as being partially funded for about half the buses that we requested in the priority projects. And there are a few other projects that have been bifurcated that way for maybe physical engineering phase in the priority projects, and then the balance of the projects down in the illustrative. For anyone that's been following along with the policy committee, one of the procedures, I'm not sure, it was that we passed within that group, was to complete any project that makes it onto the priority projects or the illustrative projects before adding new projects to our next Metropolitan Transportation Improvement Plan. And then for anybody who has been following along for about that same amount of time, the last time we updated the TIP, we didn't add any projects because during the COVID and post-COVID area, the cost overruns and inflation on all of the projects just kind of got out of control. And we decided at that point to establish a reserve in our funding and also not to add any new projects to allow us the opportunity to complete some of the projects, which is where the motion that I just referenced came from. But now both of the transit projects are either priority and partially funded as priority or on the illustrative. So we do have a commitment from the policy committee that these will be fully funded before new projects are added to the TIP. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Director Duncan?
Thank you, President Hinojosa Presi. So a couple of different things happened for me this month. We'll start at the top. I attended the Transportation and Safety Action Plan from ODOT report. And it was not awesome. It was honestly really depressing. But I want to give you the highlights here for just a second because I think it's really important that everybody knows what's going on. So they released our new fatal and serious injury crash data. And so the original data was measured from 2014 to 2018, and the new data was measured from 2019 to 2023. And Oregon is up 44% in fatal and serious injury crashes. And it is not up that much across the country. This is an Oregon-specific problem. Additionally, they went through kind of the percent increase and then the types of crashes that were the problem. So the number one was distracted driver involved crashes, which is up 116%. The next one was unrestrained occupant involved crashes, which is up 68%. And then the next top item was aging drivers 65 and plus involved in crashes, which is up 54%. The reason I bring this up is not because we can fix this problem as an agency, but because the public should be aware. Don't drive distracted. But additionally, they were asking for solutions. What do we do? I was less than enthusiastic to hear that one of the main solutions that was being proposed was increased policing of our roadways. I have no problem with traffic enforcement, just to be clear. My problem is thinking that that is the solution to the problem. And in order to illustrate why I have hesitation, I ask you all to envision Labor Day weekend, which is about to come up. And you're driving to go visit somebody that you love, and you've got Google Maps up on your phone, and the little alert happens that says there's a cop coming ahead. And the person in the left-hand lane that's been going 20 over the speed limit suddenly slows down. They probably got the same alert you did. You guys both pass the cop on the side of the road. And about 5 miles past that cop, does that person speed back up in your experience? I'm seeing some nods in the room. I don't have to answer that question for you to imagine the situation. Meaning that the solution we're proposing to this problem has to be police presence where they are visible, constantly, all the time. To me, that is a very expensive and relatively resource-poor solution. There are countries that have 0 fatal crashes, and they do not do it through policing. This is an infrastructure problem in our state. And I know that we cannot fix that problem in this room, but I do ask those around me who have more power than I do to explore more creative solutions. We've been doing this same thing my whole life. Tons of police go out on the weekends, there are holidays. For maybe, a couple of days, everybody slows down a little. A lot of people get tickets. And yet we're still up 116% all these years later. Anyway, so I'll move on to more exciting things. We got some submissions for the Pride Bus. I'm very excited to say I believe we selected one and we'll be moving forward. Thank you everybody who participated and made that project possible. I'm very excited to be able to talk about that. The other thing that we did this month is we presented the new Community Advisory Committee bylaws to the existing members of the committee. And I want to kind of pull this item out and talk about it a little bit more because I've been approached by community members quite a bit about how since the Chamber of Commerce sided with us and voted in favor of giving us the ability to levy this tax, that there has not been enough involvement by the Chamber. And I don't control a lot of things, but I do chair the DEI committee. And so we were specifically asked, in fact, I was approached by somebody on the street corner saying that if I could just produce an email showing that we had invited the chamber in some way to participate, that they would change their mind and they would be supportive of the tax. And I was like, wow, that's impactful. So although we have had a position on the Community Advisory Committee that is sat open with no applicants for over 5 years that was designated specifically for business owners, we have renewed enthusiasm, which I'm very excited about. So we have included a chamber-specific position as one of our new positions on the Community Advisory Committee, dedicated to a member of the Chamber of Commerce. So since I was told that an email would have changed someone's mind, I'm gonna go with a video. I am specifically inviting the Chamber of Commerce right now to apply for the Community Advisory Committee and participate in the discussions that we have there. And I am so excited to see a robust and diverse pool of applicants who are willing to spend their time helping with the community, genuinely. Some of you may or may not know, but I do attend greeters for the Chamber of Commerce every Friday. I am here in this room now because of my original involvement with the Chamber in 2017 and the connections that brought me. So when I say that I invite them, I'm being genuine. I have friends in that room. But I'm bringing my side to the table, and I hope you guys do too. I want to say that everyone in this room, but I only speak for myself truly, genuinely went into this process looking for feedback and the desire to do best and the best thing for the community, everyone involved. And I was very surprised by the tenor of the room. And I've gone back and forth about whether I want to talk on this point, but I think that I will just a little bit because it's the one question I haven't known how to answer, and I finally came up with it today. The Chamber directly asked us if we would put this to a vote. Well, the first thing I'll say is I actually legally don't know the answer to that question if we can. We're waiting on legal counsel to tell us even if that's possible. But the next thing I was asking myself is, why did I have a hesitation to say yes to that question? Because I deeply believe in democracy and the voice of the people and a fair and robust conversation. But something that I was at Downtown Rotary this week, and Superintendent Castaneda said something that stuck with me, which is that the Salem-Keizer School District, which is largely an area that we service, has seen a 30% increase in poverty density in the last 3 years, which is the fastest growing in the state. And you might ask yourself, why are these two things connected? And like I said, I'm a staunch believer in a fair and equal voice by the people. So my question is, am I feeling hesitant about that? No, it has to do with the equal piece. A lot of the people we serve are unhoused. 27%, I believe, of our ridership, or near there, are school kids. And there's a mom I ride the bus with every single day who's a refugee. Most of those people have severe barriers to voting or can't vote at all. I have friends, I'm 31, our generation is not doing super great economically, and it's not uncommon for me to have a friend stay on the couch for a couple weeks while they're in between housing. Those people's number one priority is not updating their new voter address while they stay with me for 2 weeks on the couch. That would take them out of the voter pool too. It doesn't mean that it has made my decision. I'm going to be really clear that I'm not making a decision until all these open houses are done and all the public comment is in, because that's what I'm here to do, is be the voice of the community and to listen to the community. I'm going to keep doing that. But I'm not elected, I'm appointed. I have no PAC, I have no donors. To me, the voice of the banker in the Chamber of Commerce meeting and the mom who's a refugee on my bus have the exact same weight in my decision. And it's important to me to hold those things all together in my head. So my emails are open. Feel free to let me know if you want to have coffee. I will do my best to be at every open house. And I look forward to continuing this discussion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate all of you bearing with us through a little bit of a longer meeting since we had a little bit of a rough start. But I will now adjourn this meeting at 7:57 p.m. Thank you very much.